Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my top 5 couples that probably shouldn't be couples. So, since it's February, the month of Valentine's and love, I've already done 2 top 5s in the past that had something to do with love. I did a top 5 for my favorite book couples. I did a top 5 for my favorite love triangles. So this year, I decided to do my 5 favorite couples that probably shouldn't be couples. These are couples that are extremely fucked up. I guess I should admit, since I am a big lover of villains, I like my ships like that as well. I like the relationships that are extremely fucked up, couples that have no business being with one another. I find the relationships that are unhealthy to be the most interesting to read about. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the romantic lovey-dovey couples, but the thing is, romantic lovey-dovey couples can get boring and predictable. With fucked up couples, I don't know what else to call them, you guys, with those sorts of couples, you don't know what to predict with them because they can do anything at any given moment. So naturally, I always find that sort of relationship far more fascinating than a perfect couple. So yeah, this month's top 5. The anti-ships, if you will. So let's get going. At number 5, I have Oberon and Titania from A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Oberon and Titania are the king and queen of the fairy realm, and Oberon, he gets jealous one day. He's pretty pissed off at Titania, and in order to get back at her, he squeezes these little petal drops in her eyes and says to her, hey, the next person you see, you're going to fall in love with them and they're going to be an ass. So sure enough, later on down the road in this play by Shakespeare, someone is cursed with the head of an ass and Titania wakes up, falls in love with that person. Talked about extremely fucked up, Oberon. So yeah, at the start of this play, Oberon and Titania, they are bickering with one another, they can't get along. If I'm remembering correctly, they're actually fighting over this little Indian boy. Oberon being kind of jealous that she's sharing her affections with this boy, but she wants to protect this boy. And you guys, the ending of this play, I still cannot believe the ending of this play. I'm about to spoil the ending very briefly. It's actually kind of, I would say, just a minor spoiler in the context of everything else that's going on in the play. But yeah, by the end of this play, Oberon and Titania, they get back together. Why, girl? Why? Oh, God. It turns into anti-feminism kind of by the end. Still, their relationship is so fascinating nonetheless. At number 4, I have Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn from The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. I guess I should note that I kind of just randomly chose The Other Boleyn Girl. I have a lot of historical fiction with Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. I just decided to go with this one. So yeah, for this one, I'm mostly just going with Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn in general. It doesn't really matter which historical fiction book. Anyway, I think we know how this one ends. Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn, they're madly in love. He changes England. He changes all of how England is at the time. He changes it all for her, but then later he gets mad at her. We all know how it ends. Poor Anne Boleyn gets beheaded. I've always been fascinated with the Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn relationship because it's like, I wish I would have lived during that time to see how they actually treated one another. Because a lot of historical fiction portrays their relationship in little differing ways. Sometimes their relationship is portrayed as just being hardcore, sexy, and steamy, and then all of a sudden it flips and he kills her, and then sometimes it's portrayed as they just hate each other from beginning to end, and it's just a marriage of convenience. And then sometimes it's portrayed as they are genuinely in love at the start and see that natural progression of a relationship and he just offs her. So I've always just been fascinated with these two, you know, why kill the woman you love? You know, why kill her in such a horrible fashion? I still can't get over it. Henry VIII, Jesus, you stupid ass. But yeah, probably one of the best historical couples, even though they are an incredibly fucked up couple still. They are one of history's most infamous couples, in my opinion, and so fascinating to read about. At number 3, I have Light and Misa from the manga series Death Note by Tsugumi Oba. This is a wild pairing, you guys. For starters, Light and Misa are both villains. So what Death Note is about, it's about Light who one day finds this Death Note. And with the Death Note, Light is able to write down names inside of it, and the names that he writes inside, those people die. He can give them a cause of death, and it's all good. He can wipe out all of the evildoers in the world. So when Misa finally pops up into the manga series, she is a die-hard worshipper of Light. Misa totally agrees with everything Light's doing. She admires him. She treats him almost like a god. So this is where we get the fucked up pairing between these two, because Misa is absolutely in love with Light. But Light has absolutely no affectionate feelings towards this girl. He thinks she's just silly and stupid, but the only thing he can do with her is use her and manipulate her to his advantage. Misa essentially becomes Light's eyes and ears throughout the manga series, and he can use her in any which way he wants in order to take off any blame from himself. And Misa just goes along with this the whole series. She does everything Light requests of her without question. I seriously just love this couple. They are so utterly fascinating. They are so screwed up. And even though Misa is a villain as well, I still find myself throughout this series really pitying her and feeling sorry and actually having a bit of sympathy towards her, knowing what Light is doing in the background that she's not paying attention to. At number 2, I have Jaime and Cersei Lannister from A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. For starters, Jaime and Cersei are twins! Incest! Yay! I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I've always found incestuous couples really fascinating and interesting because it's something I can't wrap my mind around, you know what I mean? Because it's so gross. Gross is probably an understatement. But yeah, it's so gross and unnatural, but for some reason really interesting to try and psychoanalyze why brothers and sisters would do that with one another, you know? So yeah, Jaime and Cersei, they are incestuous. It gets weird. And they have like 3 children with one another. The thing with Jaime and Cersei though, I think they do, in my opinion, genuinely love each other. And the interesting thing with their relationship over the course of the entire series is how much they think about each other, how much they want to protect each other, but like I said, over the course of the series, their relationship starts to kind of dissolve a bit, and I think they're starting to realize things about themselves. And Cersei is probably the most manipulative in this relationship. She is the one who uses their relationship to her advantage, I think. And at number 1, I have Nick and Amy from Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. Woo! Talked about a messed up, unhealthy, fucked up relationship, you guys. I have this book at number 1. Obviously, I can't talk too much about it because this is one of those books that if you talk about too much, you're heading off into spoiler territory. But all you need to know about Nick and Amy, one day, Amy, she's gone missing. her body can't be found, so obviously her husband is blamed for her disappearance. And the question is Amy murdered? Is she lying somewhere dead? So what follows is this husband and wife drama, and it plays out like this comedy slash tragedy. It's all sorts of hilarious and horrible at the same time. And it's a big commentary and mockery of media when it comes to these types of murders where the husband is blamed for the death of the wife. And what I also like about the Nick and Amy relationship is just how real it is. That probably sounds horrible to say, but quite honestly, I think their relationship, for the good and the bad that they go through, their relationship is one of the most real that I have ever seen depicted in a book. There's nothing false about it. It's always very genuine. So yeah, if you guys have read this book, you know all of the reasons why this is my #1 fucked up pairing, because it is so good. So yeah, that's it for my top 5 this month. In the comments below, what are your anti-ships, or what couples are so despicable that you just love reading them? So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you liked this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.